Hello, my loves. I'm just waiting for it to confirm that we are live. There we go. Alrighty. Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Yoga Teacher Collaborative podcast and the live streaming of it into the Yoga Teacher Collaborative Facebook group. Those of you that listen to this on Spotify, on Spotify, on the podcast version. Thank you, thank you, thank you, whatever you're doing right now. But there's always something magical in joining live via the Facebook group 10:30 every Friday because we get to support and chat. And in the chat right now, I am going to put, if I can, a download. Okay, I will find out how to do that in a second. There we go. All right, so I'm just putting a link into the download. Just a second. Now tech is challenging with me. Please bear with me. Copy link. There we go. Nearly there. Okay, so there is a link that you can use to download to follow along today, which I think you might find quite useful, because today we are talking about September Reset, mapping your final quarter and next year's vision. Before we dive into that content, if you are new here, my name is Laura Green. I am a yoga teacher, a teacher trainer, an author, a business mentor, and a lover of all things yoga. The mission here with the Yoga Teacher Collaborative is to support you to thrive in the business and practicalities of being a yoga teacher, but also in the heart, the soul, the spiritual work of being a yoga teacher. So our episodes really do flip between both your spiritual work as a teacher, your connection to your own practice, your own journey and evolution, and all the nitty-gritty skills and business behind that as well. Today is clearly a very practical session looking at your business as we explore mapping out the final quarter and next year's vision. As I said, I have just put a link to download in the Facebook Live. That is a journaling worksheet that you can be filling in as we go through this session. If you're listening to the podcast, just reach out to me on email, via the website, on social media, and I will share the link for the download. It's just Laura Green Yoga. You will find me at that. So September, always and forever the back to school month, not just because it's when we went back to school, but because it is Virgo season. So it does have that feeling of getting back to it, of getting organized. But it really asks us two important questions. What is left to give in 2025? Because, my lovelies, we've got September, October, November, December left. And we're already a week into September. We have 4 months left of this year. And as we know, teaching yoga, class numbers are not linear. December is not going to be as busy a month as, say, September, March, January is. So we need to look ahead and plan for these seasonal ups and downs. And then September isn't the end of the year. You still have time to put new things on, to bring new things to life, to grow and evolve your business and as a teacher within 2025. So there is really important questions to ask. What is left to give in 2025? And anything you're choosing to bring to the world in 2025, we've got to crack on with it now. There is 4 months left. So there isn't time for dilly-dallying with an idea and then looking to find a venue, then looking to market it to your classes and then offer it. It's going to be by the end of the year by now. So anything you want to bring into 2025, we need to be decisive and take aligned action on. And we now need to ask the second question: what needs securing in advance for 2026? Because if you are running retreats, workshops, longer trainings, longer courses that will need specific special venues secured, you're going to want to be thinking ahead to get the best possible choice of dates, availability, and sometimes if you plan ahead, you can lock in 2025's pricings for 2026. That's a sneaky little trick from me. I've got venues booked for retreats right out through and into 2027. And when I book way ahead like that, I negotiate to secure this year's pricing. So that is an unexpected little tip I didn't plan to give you today. So there's a win-win there. All right. So download the journaling worksheet. I have just put it in the Facebook group. Message me for it if you're on the Spotify recording, because I want you to start to think, what is left to give in 2025? Reading from your journaling workshop, what do I most want to offer before this year ends? Are you wanting to start a new class? If you want to start a new class, you need to crack on with it now, or you need to wait till January. There is no point starting a new class in the end of November. There is no point starting a new class in December. You need a little bit of run up in time to launching a new class. So you can't start a class next week. You need at least 4 weeks to market and launch a new class. So 4 weeks, that takes you into October. And then that's about as late as you can leave it. Get a new class established in October to guide you through November into December, and then hit that January peak. So if it's a new class, you need to take action now. Otherwise, it's going to be too late and you'll have to wait till January. So if you want to start a new class, do not push this or procrastinate any longer. Get your venue, get it secured for 4 weeks' time, get it up on your website, get it on your booking system, get your flyers posted, printed, get it out there ASAP if you're wanting to start a new class or a new course before the end of the year. What about workshops? For the love of God, I would love to bring back workshops. We've got so obsessed with retreats, day retreats, half-day retreats. It's not a retreat to me unless you're feeding me. So if it's a 3-hour workshop, it's 3 hours and you're not feeding me lunch, it's not a half-day retreat. Now, that is just me and my oddities. So take me with a pinch of salt. I do absolutely love my food. So don't call it retreat unless you're feeding me. But I think we should bring back workshops. 2-hour workshops, 3-hour workshops. Why? Because there's something different in workshops and retreats. Workshops feel like they're going to be educational and they're a kind of quick dive in and out. We don't expect from a workshop a really beautiful event space, and we don't expect to be fed, which cuts back dramatically on your costs. So you can run your workshop in your local village hall. One of my village halls cost me £14 an hour to hire. So, that's going to be £28 for a 2-hour workshop versus a venue for a half-day retreat. I might be looking at like £150, £175 for that. And then on top of that, you're not having to provide food. So bring back workshops. And I think people really embrace learning something. The word retreat has this feel of a luxury. And yes, we all want a luxury retreat, but sometimes we don't prioritize them enough. So let's get some workshops in your calendar for 2025. I used to do a pre-Christmas chill out workshop. I used to do a tension taming workshop. You could do an embrace autumn workshop. You could do a Vata season for autumn workshop. You could do, it doesn't even have to be seasonal. You could do a workshop on something you like from yoga philosophy. You could do a workshop on an anatomy part or on back bends. What would delight you to attend a workshop in, and go put it on? 2 hours, £40. I used to do them at like £25, but that was a long time ago. £40, 2 hours, give it some educational content, give a takeaway, give a piece of homework, give a printed sheet that someone can take home, go put it on. And a pop-up event like that, a workshop, I would want to give, for me, probably 6 weeks notice, but I would push it to 4 weeks, especially as right now I've been doing more pop-up events. My kitten's being naughty. Nice, it's good boy, it's walked away. So 4 to 6 weeks, that means you can get an October, November, or December workshop in. Go for it. What else could you get in before the end of the year? Would you like to put on a retreat? You've just got time to get a Christmas retreat in now, a winter solstice retreat, a winter hibernation retreat, a deep rest retreat, a Christmas party class. That's something I always used to do. So what else do you want to bring to life in 2025? If it is for September, October, even December, crack on with it now. Because if you are going to do events, be them workshops, courses, new class, a retreat in December or January, you really need to think about students' cash flow and when you're going to launch them. Because come December, people can be a little bit strapped for cash because they're planning to spend it on the Christmas meal. They're having to pay to go to their Christmas party. They're going out more with friends. They're socializing more. They've got to buy all the Christmas presents. So if you want someone to attend an event in December, you need to get them to buy it now. Before, in September, we're not thinking about our Christmas shopping. There'll be some crazy person listening to this that is, but the rest of us aren't. So September, people are like, oh yeah, that sounds lovely to do in Christmas. I just launched this week my winter solstice retreat. That sounds nice. The diary's not too full. The cash hasn't been spent on something else. So anything you're going to do in December, you've got to get cracking marketing it now and into October before people's diaries get full and before they're spending their money on other stuff. Same goes for January. January is really tricky for when to price things or when to launch things. So if you're wanting to launch a beginner's course in January, people don't like to think about January before Christmas is done. People don't like to getting over that holiday time and booking something for January before they've had the holiday. And then equally, people don't like to book for something in the beginning of January until they've been paid, or end of December until they've been paid. So January, if it's something like a course, yoga course, you need to just hold your nerve. Start telling people about it in December, but hold your nerve through to January. The people book January courses late notice after they've had that December paycheck. But if it's a bigger January event, like I always have a January day retreat on the astrology for the year ahead, I need to launch that early. That needs to start being sold in November, very, very beginning of December, before people are strapped for cash and waiting for that December paycheck. And I still have to hold my nerve for last minute bookings in January as well. Okay, so in your journaling worksheet, which you've downloaded or you're going to download in a second, I want you to fill out what is left to give in 2025. What do I most want to offer before the year ends? Then think, what do I want to offer in December and January? And when do I need to promote that to my community to honor their spending cash flow? And then moving on to 2026. You need to have a high level think about that now. Start by thinking, what is the biggest thing you offer, or what is the biggest thing that you would like to offer in 2025? Especially if you're a more experienced teacher, and get those dates locked in now. So for me, that is my 200-hour yoga teacher training course. I need to get those dates locked in before I start adding anything else to my calendar, such as retreats. because they need to be a repeating, recurring event. Do you have anything like that? Anything that you always want to be like the third Saturday of the month? Or do you always want to do something on the full moon and on the new moon? Or something like that. So I have to lock in my teacher training. So I always want the third weekend of the month. And then I run my astrology 12-month course, which is either aligned with the full moon or the new moon. So I have to lock those in advance before I start adding things willy-nilly to my calendar. So what big things do you want to bring that are date specific for 2026? Is that just because you want to set date, or is there a seasonal tone to that, like a lunar cycle, around an equinox point, around a wheel of the year point? Is there something date specific? And just lock that out in your diary already. Then, is there a new retreat you would like to run? So I love to run retreats in Europe. And I run them in Spain and Italy and Portugal and Crete and Finland and France. But there's a narrow window of time that I like to host retreats. May and September are my favorite for Europe. I broaden my retreat calendar by going outside of Europe. But May and September, outside of school holidays, still warm. So I have to lock in those dates way ahead. So what do you want to do with retreats? Retreats abroad, retreats in the UK, and do you need to start researching venues now? I was looking for new venues for 2026, and I was working on that all through June and July, locking in brand new venues. So I've got brand new retreat to Bordeaux for October 2026 and a brand new retreat to Finland for July 2026. So I was working on those back in June, finding venues. Then July, talking to and negotiating venues. August, visiting the venues. September, I'm going to put them up for sale now. So you can see that kind of time scale with that. And I like to advertise retreats abroad an entire year before. So, I will be launching the Bordeaux retreat now a whole year before. That gives me confidence that I can fill it. It gives the people the opportunity to save. It means we can get the prep flights at the right prices. So what are you wanting in 2026? Big offerings, trainings, anything date specific. What about retreats? Even if you can work ahead to 2027, go for it. Remember to negotiate for this year's pricing. Then what are the major commitments that need a fancy venue? And then this goes for your caterers as well. If you've got a caterer you adore, the earlier you can lock them in, the better, and negotiate with your caterers to get this year's prices for committing to them for next year. And then the last one I want to talk about is online courses. If you have an urge to launch something online that is really different, so, I've got my online mentorship course, I've got my 12-month Realm of Emotions astrology course, all sorts of other courses. But if you're doing something like that online and you want to attract a new online audience, as part of that launch, you might need to do a free conversion event, a free launch event. So you will know I launched my 12-month mentorship program in January, but in December, we do a free launch event. We do the Pillars of a Profitable Yoga Business or Thrive in 2026. We do a free 3-part online course. This works really, really well. It gives you an opportunity to share your teaching for free with an audience of people that have never met you. They get to experience the genius of your teaching and then feel much more likely to invest in an online course with you. Why I'm mentioning that now is because there's a real lead time with that. So say you're like, yeah, do you know what? I'm feeling really inspired to launch a really unusual course about mantra or mythology or philosophy or somatics or the nervous system or yoga for supporting insomnia, whatever it is that you want to launch. And I want to launch this online and I want to attract an audience I don't already know. You're going to have to backdate that. So when do you want the thing to run? Maybe you want to launch it, you want to start the course in March. Okay, so then you need a 4 to 6 week window to market that. So let's say 4 weeks. That means you need to open it for booking back in February. But you want to run a free event to attract new people to that. And you want to run that directly before you open up the 4-week window for booking. So that was February. But then you need to market the free event. So you need to market that at least 2 weeks before, maybe even 3 weeks before. So that puts you into January. So even though you might not be wanting to run this course till March, you're going to have to start the marketing of the free event in January. So another example of this is my teacher training. So teacher training starts in March. It's a big ticket item. Teacher training costs nearly £4,000 and people have to be available for all of the dates. So I want it full, booked, committed by the end of January. I don't like last minute bookings for teacher training. So if I want something committed by the end of January and I want to attract new people and I'm going to put on a free taster event, I need to way backdate that. So my free taster event for teacher training is the 2nd of October. I'm running Facebook adverts for that. I want them to run for 3 weeks. Facebook adverts start now. So that course isn't till March. I want it enrolled by January. I've got a free event in October. I'm starting running the Facebook ads in September. So this is why you have to sit down and map out, what do I want to deliver in 2026? How long a marketing lead up does that need? Do I want to do a free event ahead of that? And this doesn't actually have to just be online. One of my trainees from a few years ago, she did teacher training, then she had 2 babies, so she didn't actually get on to launching her classes, is now launching her classes, launching for the end of September. But we've done her 2 pop-up free in-person classes in September to get a little bit of a buzz around her classes. I think we're doing them as a donation to a charity, but to then get people excited about her beginner's course starting in September. So you can still use this free conversion event marketing approach, but you need to really know what you want to offer, how do you want to market. If there's a free taster conversion event, when are you going to do that? And then when do you need to start marketing that? So this is why, my loves, get the journaling worksheet out. I put it in the Facebook group. If you're listening on Spotify, just reach out to me through any platform with Laura Green Yoga and ask for the link. And get in the worksheet. What needs securing for 2026? The prompt, which major commitments need booking before the year turns out? Retreats, trainings, venues, so that you can backdate all of that. Then I'm guiding you through the reflection. What is your 1-page plan for both the close of 2025 and the beginning of 2026? What are your top priorities in 2025? What are your top priorities in 2026? So end of 2025, 2026. For me, 2026, it's teacher training. It is the postgraduate teacher training. I have 5 abroad retreats for 2026. Lithuania's sold out. Safari's sold out. Spain's got 2 spaces left. Bordeaux's got 3 spaces left. Finland, I'm launching today. Okay, so you really need to plan that stuff out. And then where does everything else fit around that? Okay, so it is time for you to answer that call. What is left 2025? What do you need securing for 2026? And then plan December now. December drift. We all get tired. If you want to do things like suggest your community book a gift voucher as a Christmas present, things like that need to be planned in your marketing diary ahead. And better yet, pre-schedule your marketing for December so that when you're feeling that desire to hibernate, you can, because you got ahead. Now, it's like those TV programs that film their like Christmas specials back in summer. They have to pretend it's cold and put their Christmas jumpers on. Be like that. They know what they're doing. Okay, lovelies. Thank you for joining me today on your Mapping the Final Quarter. If this has been useful, let me know. Share it with somebody. Download the workbook, send me a picture. I am here to support you. I love to connect with you. Otherwise, it's just me talking into a microphone on my own. So come on, my loves, chat back at me. I am here to listen anytime. Otherwise, thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next week. Bye for now.